Well, thank everybody once again for coming out this afternoon. Talk a little bit about the Jamestown game and talk about our M-Week game against William Jewell. A very tough loss for us Saturday afternoon at Jamestown. We saw a lot of progress with the young football team, but we did a lot of good things. One of our focuses was coming out early in the football game, and we did that. We had a 12-play, 74-yard drive, capped that off with a touchdown. We had a two-point conversion to that, and it was exciting to see our offense come out with that fashion, come out with some drive and some fire. And we fought and went into that halftime with an 11-6 lead and felt real good about where we were at. We played solid defensively. We played well on special teams during that time and really had our best first half of football. We knew going into the game it was going to be a dogfight. We talked about the four-quarter battle it was going to be with our players, and it certainly turned into that with a lot of push and pull in that second half. And anytime you lose a football game in that fashion, you probably look at about 15, 20 plays and say, boy, if one of those goes our way, that's a victory. And those are the tough lessons we got to learn as a football unit. And I think our kids are doing that. In any defeat, we've got to find the positive, and the positive is our kids definitely competed during that whole time. I was excited to see some performances. John L. Rover finally broke free, had a great game on 15 carries, had 130 yards, had a handful of receiving yards. We ran a double pass with him, and definitely was the playmaker, got out in space that we certainly expected from Ja. We really wanted to make sure when he was in the game, we got him his touches. I think we had him in the game 33 plays and got him the football in his hands 24 of those 33. So we were certainly made a conscious effort of that, and it certainly paid off against Jamestown. We challenged our receivers on the edge to compete, to go battle the football. I thought Marshall Davis had a tremendous game for us on Saturday afternoon. You get a chance to hear from Marshall there early. He was the one who was on the receiving end of that double pass, but went out and competed. I thought Zanudo threw the football well. Our O-line had marked improvement. We gave up one sack during that whole time. I thought they competed all day long. We created a run game that really we didn't have in the first 2 weeks. And we had the balanced offense that we were looking for. Offensively, some things we've really got to clean up. We've got to put the ball in the end zone when we're in the red zone. We had 3 chances that we came out with 2 missed field goals and a fumble, and that's really the difference between winning and losing the football game. We've got to make sure once that ball's inside the red zone, we're putting points on the board. And once we can do that, we'll be in great shape. Defensively, I thought we played extremely well in the first half. We got to stop the run better in the second half. We allowed Jamestown to be on the field too long, too many opportunities to run the football. So those are some things we need to get cleaned up as we head into this week against William Jewell. From a special teams standpoint, anytime you miss 2 critical field goals, you're going to be in trouble. We have a very capable kicker, Colton Jeldon. 42-yard field goal he hit right before the end of regulation was a big time field goal. He was iced twice in that situation. There was a lot more wind than maybe was you could tell from the outside, but there was a pretty good little tunnel that runs through that stadium, and he hit that thing well. And we got to make sure we convert on those other 2 opportunities and find a way to get over that hump. But we left several things out there on the special teams side. We probably should have had 2 to 3 block punts. And those are the things that are game changers. Anytime you block a punt, percentages tell you 88% of the time you're going to win a football game. And we had our opportunities. We've got to execute. We've got to continue to develop our young players to finish in those situations and continue to get some playmaking plays from our older guys and find a way to get over that hump and make a play in a critical situation to win a football game. We got William Jewell coming in this week for M-Day. They've got some common, there's a common opponent. They play Colorado Mines. Was their opening game. Colorado Mines beat them 56-17. It's always nice to watch tape when you kind of play somebody. It's a little bit more of an accurate gauge than maybe watching tape on people that you've never seen their opponent. They're good on offense. It's a good offensive football team. They move the ball back and forth very well against Colorado Mines, but similar to us last week, they just weren't able to punch it into the end zone when they're in the red zone. They got a quarterback who's a talented young man. He gets rid of the football fast. He's got a quick release. Watching tape on him last night, he looks like a baby Dan Marino. The ball is out fast and to the edges pretty quick, and they also have a running back that is a good playmaker. So those are 2 things that will have to be, we have to spend a good chunk of time on the defensive side. But our guys, again, we got a resilient group. They practiced extremely well last night. We're trying every day to correct the mistakes that we need to make to get us over the top. And I really think we've seen improvement between week 2 and week 3, and you're going to continue to see that with this football team. Any questions that I can answer for you about our Jamestown game or our week opponent, William Jewell?
Stacy, you talked early in the year about how the most improvement sometimes occurs between game 1 and game 2. But with the youth at this club and the amount of young players, freshmen and sophomore, I think there's like 40 on the travel squad. Do you think it's just going to be a continual improvement each and every year as they mature?
I certainly do. And maybe I was, maybe a little bit naive to how young we really were. Me and Tom Rubis were having our pregame breakfast, before the Jamestown team. And we always have our seniors come up first and eat, then our juniors, then our sophomores and freshmen. Well, your seniors and juniors go up and there's 15 guys up there. When our sophomores and freshmen came up, there's 40. We took a travel squad of 55 guys. So I think what's an eye-opener to me, sometimes you want these guys ready to be playing football in their 3rd and 4th year, and really it's their 3rd game. And there was a ton of improvement between week 2 and week 3, and I really believe we're going to continue to get better. They have a great fight. We get great leadership from our upperclassmen, and these young kids continue to develop, and I think our best football is going to be continue to happen week in and week out.
Other questions here? One of the things that we always want to look at as we look at a progression of a football team is how do you feel your young players are adjusting, because they're getting a lot of time, a lot of minutes. Are they starting to make strides? Can you see them make strides?
Yeah, you can. And probably as a head football coach, not as fast as I always want them to, but we got to focus on the building blocks and we really challenge some of these guys in certain areas. Say, this is what we need you to focus on this week. It may be, hey, I need you to block on the edge better. I need you to go catch the football when it's in the air. I need to make sure you're reading your key right, and we've gotten better. Not as fast as I want, probably not as fast as our coaches and they want to be, but we're seeing strides. And as long as we're patient, we continue to develop this group, we will get better. We've got a ton. This freshman class, there's a lot of Division II caliber football players. They're just not quite ready to play Division II football 2 weeks ago. And as we continue to make this progress and get better, I think you're going to see that trend change, and we're going to continue to play better and more competitive football like we did last week.
Joe Nell Rover had a breakout game, kind of what you've been expecting since day one. Tell us a little bit about what Matt is setting back early in the year and why it's coming forward.
Yeah, we had an extremely scary situation with Ja, and really after our 3rd practice, he dehydrated, overheated, and I forget the exact name of the condition, Ribbo, something like that. Scott Bear could tell you. He was in the hospital for 6 days, and it was a very extreme situation where his PK levels were off the charts, and we didn't know if he was gonna be able to play for us all this year. So it was a slow stride getting Ja back to where he's at. We really had to limit his carries to about 10, 15 in the North Dakota game. Last week at Mines, we tried to push him in that 20 range, and this week we got him the ball 33, 34 times, and he is an impact player for us. He can make a difference. He definitely did that in Jamestown, and I think he's only going to get better. Almost like these young freshmen. As now as his health's improved, he's a grown man out there, and he's a guy when he continue to get the football in his hands.
Stacy, I was wondering about during the game, how concerned are you about the run defense? And was it a scheme thing? Was it maybe just physical? Was it something that I know you don't want to allow 280 yards rushing.
Absolutely, you can't. If you want to be a good football team, you have to stop the run. So to answer your initial question, I'm very concerned. And usually it's a handful of things. There's some schematic things we need to clean up. I really don't think the scheme is the bulk of it. We've got to be more disciplined with what we're doing and more physical at the point of attack. And we're going to change some things schematically to help with that. But in order to be a solid defense at any level, we've got to stop the run. And we certainly can't allow 293 yards on the ground and expect to win too many football games. But we will change that. We'll get the personnel in the game. We'll play more physical football, and we'll make those changes the best we can. But that's an area of improvement that's probably at the very, very top of our list right now. He's progressing nicely. We gave him time on Saturday, and I think what you saw is when we give him time, he's an effective man. We also played Evan Sanders. Evan Sanders was a young man. He's our number 2 quarterback, and you're going to see bits and pieces. Evan came in, started the second quarter for us. He's a tremendous young athlete. We're going to continue to work Evan into the fold. But Mike, his completion percentage has been great. He did not throw any interceptions again on Saturday, which is a huge deal. I think Mike would be the first to tell you the one snap he just dropped was will be his big regret. But Mike's getting better. And the one thing I got to keep in mind, and our coaches got to keep in mind, Mike hasn't played a lot of football. He was only at Delta College for 1 year. So even though he is a junior college transfer, he was only at Delta 1 year. And he's progressed each week and gotten better. So I think Mike will continue to progress as this team continues to progress. And I think he's playing well. He's making good decisions back there. And we got to continue to not turn the football over and put ourselves in position to win a game like we did on Saturday.
You want to take this opportunity to introduce Marshall?
Absolutely. Come on up, Marshall. I'd like to introduce Marshall Davis. He's a junior wide receiver for us from Kansas City area. Marshall, what's your name? Environmental engineering. You got a chance to hear from Pat Shaw last week. Marshall Davis is in the exact same mold. He's a tremendous person, both on and off the field, a leader on our football field, and really stepped up as a playmaker at the wide receiver position.
Like Coach said, my name is Marshall Davis. I'm an environmental engineering junior, or redshirt junior on the field, senior in the classroom. Probably be here for 5 years though, with the course load and with how football's going. Tough loss this last weekend against Jamestown. We wanted to go up there and get a win, but we didn't put enough points on the board like we should have when we had the opportunities, and just couldn't get that last field goal to tie it up at the end. As far as the game went, penalties on offense, I think, were the main reason why we couldn't get those points on the board that we needed late in the third quarter and even in the second quarter. We got that lead early and we just kind of sat on it, and I didn't really think that the people or the guys on the team were really pushing like the first series and the second series to get points on the board throughout the second and third quarter. Like Coach said, that the defense let up a lot of points and a lot of rushing yards, and when that happens, I mean, it's hard to win. As far as the team morale, our practice yesterday went really well. A lot of energy. Everybody's excited for this homecoming week and the homecoming game against William Jewell. We're ready to put in the work that needs to be done. Coach Collins has really helped us a lot this year with keeping our thoughts up and our hopes up and the morale up. I mean, with these tough losses here early, it's been kind of hard on the guys because a lot of guys come from schools that, I mean, win state championships back to back. And with losing that bad to North Dakota and to the School of Mines, they were really down about it. Myself and a few of the leaders on the team also helped try to keep them where they need to be, keep their head where they need to be, and keep working hard because I mean that's all we can do at this point in the year. And I guess the rest, all else I need to say is just I'm ready to work, and I feel like our team is ready to work this week, and I think we'll get a W against Saturday. Any questions?
Marshall, where do you play on offense?
I guess I should have started out with that. I'm a receiver, number 9. Play as a Z receiver, so a lot of underneath routes and things of that nature.
Did you play receiver in high school?
In high school, I played receiver my junior year and then quarterback my senior year because our quarterback graduated and we didn't really have anybody to fill that spot. So I actually came here as a quarterback freshman year with Coach Kratzer. He recruited me as a quarterback and moved me to receiver, I think, week 2 or 3 because we had a guy get hurt, and I've been here ever since, and I'm loving it. So.
What do you think the seniors, what do you expect out of your senior leadership group, senior and juniors? Because there's not a lot.
Right, there's not a lot, and we've got a great group of guys, I believe, Bernice Berber, John Tristeo, myself, Andrew Isom with the offensive line. We're really getting these guys going because we've got a lot of freshmen, and like I said, they were getting down with the first few games, not going how we wanted them to. But we're keeping them working hard, and we're saying the right things that need to be said. And Jonathan Tristeo, for example, he's leading the chapel group 4 games, and I mean we're getting a lot of guys in there because John's a good speaker and they like what he has to say. And we're doing a great job, I believe, at this point of converting these freshmen to grow up a little faster than they're used to. I think by the end of the season, it'll work out just great.
In your estimation, is there some pretty good young talent?
Yes, we we have a lot of good talent that I haven't seen in a while. We have a few good defensive backs that I've been going against that I haven't. Being a receiver, I mean, in practice, that's who we go against. And, I mean, I haven't seen that kind of talent since I've got here, to be honest with you. A lot of quick guys that are smart too. I mean, they play the right reads and they know what they're doing. You can tell. And I mean, even in the backfield, Jamal Wilbur, like you guys were talking about earlier, I talked with him and he's a great guy. He does good things on the field, and he's just getting back into it after the injury that he had in spring ball. But a great group of underclassmen that are doing great things for us.
Any other questions?
Thank you,
Marshall.